If you have ever felt like you have no control around food, like once you start eating you cannot stop, this video is for you. And before we start, I need to say that binge eating and overeating are not the same thing at all. Overeating is like you eat a bit too much, you feel uncomfortable, maybe you just didn't stop at the right time, but you are still in control. Binge eating, on the other hand, it can feel like a blackout. You eat so fast that you're not even registering what you're doing, and you physically cannot stop even if you wanted to. It's almost like a drug, except that you can always quit drugs and move away from that environment. You can't quit food. Food is always going to be in your life, and it's up to you to either take control of your life or let food ruin your life. Hi Princess, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Karina, aka the Protein Princess, and I help you level up your health, mindset, and fitness. Today we're doing a bit of a different video, so I changed up the vibe a little bit. We're going to talk about how I beat binge eating. And I'm not saying overnight fix or never struggled ever again, but I went from having zero control around food to being in pretty much control all the time, to being able to have a jar of peanut butter in the house for more than 2 weeks. The old me would have finished that jar in 10 minutes, no joke. So what actually changed? Let me take you back a little bit. I grew up with 4 brothers, so dinner time in my head was survival mode. Even though my mom never stressed me about food, she never forced me to eat, she never forced me to finish my plate, she never stressed any of us around food. But I was still in this very stressed state. This might have also been a deeper issue or some kind of trauma response to something deeper, but we're not going to get into that this video. I think for some reason I was scared that there wouldn't be enough food for me, although that was never the case. For some reason I ate very fast. Like, very fast. Too fast to even realize that I was full, and I would end up overeating until I was in actual pain, rolling around on the floor, rubbing my stomach and crying type of pain. And my mom would always tell me, just eat slower, there's always more food. You don't need to keep eating this much, you can always come back for seconds. But I didn't listen. Eventually, she saw that this was a real struggle for me, and she helped me portion my food. And she did this for years because I could not control myself. I did not know how to portion control, and I just didn't have this sense of fullness that everyone else seemed to have. And this kind of behavior followed me for a long time, many years of my life. So if you relate to the feeling of losing control around food, I get it. But the thing is though, the thing that I learned way too late in my life is that binge eating is not about food. It's mental. It's emotional. And for me, honestly, one of the biggest triggers was being sad or bored. During the was when my binge eating maybe was at its worst. I would be laying in bed all day, scrolling all day, frying my brain. I had nothing to do, no structure, no routines, no habits, nothing going for me really. So I just ate, and food became a form of entertainment and a source of dopamine. And not just that, it became some kind of comfort and something to fill my time with. I didn't consider the nutritional value of anything, and I would eat anything at any time. And this might ruffle some feathers, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If you cannot stop thinking about food all the time, it's not just about hunger. You might actually be bored. Like actually, you might be bored. You need something in your life that takes the focus away from food. Because when the rest of your life is empty, food becomes one of the main sources of dopamine in your everyday life. Along with doom scrolling, of course. And now, what actually helped me get out of this? I went to therapy for other reasons, but I would 10 out of 10 recommend going to see a professional therapist. Even if you're not struggling with like overeating or any other issues, I feel like everyone would benefit from therapy in some kind of way. But one of the biggest things that changed for me was, instead of taking away food, what if we add food? And I know it sounds so backwards, but
hear me out for a sec.
I stopped taking away food and adding in more food because it was the restriction that was keeping me stuck for so long. Because the second you tell yourself, I can't have this, your brain becomes obsessed with it. So instead of removing all the foods that I enjoyed, I added more protein, more vegetables, more fiber. And it sounds so backwards, but it actually made me crave less. And that's because I wasn't thinking constantly about my next meal. So it makes sense. Another thing that helped me a lot was reframing what healthy eating actually is. Because I don't know about you, but around me growing up, not specifically from my family, I guess, but friendships, and you hear it here and there that eating healthy is boring, it's flavorless, it's restrictive, and enjoying life is eating junk. While that's such a toxic mindset. I've had people around me claim that eating healthy is performative and there's no way that people actually enjoy living like that. It's a sad prison. Let me tell you something. You can eat food that tastes good and supports your body. Eating healthy does not just equate to chicken and rice, bland chicken and rice and salad. Also, when you start to eat more healthy foods, you start to crave less unhealthy foods. Let's take McDonald's as an example. To me, in 2020, I would obliterate an 18-pack of chicken nuggets and 2 double cheeseburgers. I would have no problem. Today, it doesn't make me feel as good as it used to. My body doesn't feel very good when I eat those kinds of foods. I sure can enjoy them in small amounts, but it doesn't taste as good anymore. And that's not just a mentality or a mindset, it is your actual biology. Your gut microbiome will crave more of the foods that you actually consume yourself. So when you consume certain foods, your body will crave more of it. And for me, transitioning into this new way of living, it was not an overnight thing where I went from McDonald's to eating salads. I used snack plates for a long time. Instead of having a tiny snack like a chocolate or ice cream or whatever it might be, I would make a full plate. Fruits, yogurt, something crunchy, something a little sweet, something a little salty, something protein, a little bit of everything, so it feels more fun. And I actually felt quite satisfied with this because not only did it fill me up, but it also made me open up more to enjoying and having more fun with the foods that I wanted to bring more into my diet. And this is also a great option if you don't want to go in the kitchen and be cooking for 2 hours. Another huge thing was setting meal times, and this was first introduced to me when I was on my bikini prep. Knowing that I was going to be eating at this time and this time removed so much food noise, because then I wasn't constantly thinking about, oh, when am I going to eat? When am I going to eat? Because I know. And the thing about your brain is that it loves structure, and it helps you stop obsessing over it. Another thing that I had to learn the hard way is that I was actually undereating, severely undereating, which led to me overeating and binge eating. And I know some of you don't want to hear this. If you are skipping meals, trying to be perfect, only eating super clean, and then suddenly you're in the kitchen at night eating everything in sight. Babe, that is not a lack of discipline. That's just your body trying to survive, and you're just...
Oh, no, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing.
Your body is smart, and it will push you to eat if you don't eat yourself. So for me, eating a sufficient amount during the daytime stopped me from going and binging at nighttime. Because when you skip breakfast, you skip lunch, and then you've been so good all day, you haven't eaten, so now you're gonna lose so much weight. And then you eat 3,000 calories in one sitting in the evening. That's not. So for me, eating enough during the day, prioritizing protein, fiber, vegetables, all of this did more than willpower ever did for me. Being conscious when you're eating is also one of the biggest key things that nobody talks about, because the thing about binge eating is that you completely just black out, and it makes you eat so fast, or it's just everything is so out of your control. And I had to fix how fast I was eating. And because I was so used to rushing these meals from childhood, my body literally never had the time to send the signals that
You're full, we have to stop eating.
So I started implementing some simple little hacks. that actually helped me regain my consciousness when I was consuming food. One thing you can do is putting your fork down between each and every bite. This might be a bit more advanced, as you might zone out and just go at it. Another thing is eating with your non-dominant hand. I'm left-handed, so I would be eating with my right hand. This makes your brain way more focused on actually doing the whole action of putting food into your mouth. It's not just gonna be automatic. Actually chewing your food properly, and for some time I also set a specific number that I'm gonna chew. So I had 10 chews on the left side and 10 on the right side, and I did that for a long time. And of course, eliminating distractions like your phone or TV. Don't watch TV or scroll on TikTok while you're eating, because this is also gonna stop you from noticing when you're actually getting full. And I know that some of them might be a little basic, but it makes a world of a difference when you're actually conscious with your food and you're there, you're present in the moment. It's a new world. I've also had clients admit to me
I
that
binged on the weekend and I overate.
and this is such a common issue, like even if it's just overeating and not binge eating, because how do you fix this? Like, you messed up, right? Wrong. I stopped trying to make up for everything. Before, if I had a bad day or I binged, I would make sure to eat less the next day, or maybe even do a fast to make up for the calories. Over exercise, be at the gym for 3 more hours and burn those calories off, or punish myself in some other kind of way. And we don't want to be doing all that. And this would of course lead to another binge later, because I mean, running for 3 hours, who's not going to be hungry after that? And this is literally such a vicious cycle. It's so hard to stop. So instead, I did the opposite. If I overate, I wouldn't go crazy. I would just keep being normal. Ate 3,000 calories over what I was supposed to today. Okay, let's go back to normal tomorrow. Nothing special. We're just gonna pretend like it didn't happen. Normal meals, normal workouts, normal structure, and no punishment. Consistency is going to beat compensation every single time. And it's much easier to keep it that way as well. If you keep beating yourself up for all of these mistakes that you made, you are just contributing to more guilt, shame, and that eventually leads to another binge. You have to understand that it is not that deep, and take a second, get real, and like,
Are you hearing yourself?
you didn't eat breakfast, you didn't eat lunch, you had a tiny dinner, and you had a heavy workout, and you're wondering why you're ravaging through the kitchen at 10 p.m?
Bruh.
Girl. Moving on, the next thing I learned was in therapy, y'all. Go to therapy. That might be one of the biggest shifts of all, which is identity. I stopped telling myself that I have a binging problem and that I can't control myself around food and that I can't stop eating, because when you speak to yourself like that, you are going to start believing it. Whether you think you will or not, you will start believing it. Instead, I started with positive affirmations about myself. I take care of myself in my body, I manage my stress, I can stop eating when I'm full, I am conscious when I am eating. Even though it feels so awkward and fake, it works. It is just how your brain is wired, and you can't do anything about it. But it's the same with people who are depressed and get told to smile in the mirror, because smiling helps your body relieve stress and feel happy. Even though you're a depressed person, going to the mirror and smiling, it sounds like it's not going to do anything, but it actually kind of works. Over time, it will stop being fake and you will actually feel it in yourself. And now, healing doesn't need to be perfect. Literally the other night I had a whole pack of Oreos on my own. But I don't binge, I don't spiral, and I'm not out of control anymore. And that's the biggest difference. I know how to enjoy food in moderation, and I know that I can always pick up the food later. It's always gonna be there. You just need to be more conscious. So if you are someone who is struggling with this right now, I want you to know that you are not weak and you are not broken. You just need better tools, more structure, and a different way of thinking. I would love it if you guys could share your tips and tricks down in the comments, or maybe even your stories or experiences, so everyone can help everyone out and not feel so alone in this, because this is such a lonely illness. Like, you feel so secretive and lonely in it. So it's nice to see that someone else might relate. For all of you lovely little princesses, I have put together a free PDF. You can go download it in the description. It is full of tips, tricks, and helpful insights, so I hope that might be of help. I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys take so good care of yourselves until my next video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share with all your friends. It really means the world to me. We are growing pretty fast on this channel, and I'm so excited to see that we're building this bigger family, and thank you all so much. And that will be it for this video. Hopefully I'll see you in my next. Bye.